What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural, we finally have a name now, the inaugural episode of Half Circle Back. It's your boy Magnegro, along with my co-host 4H Tim. What's good, Tim?
What up, man?
How you been, man?
I've been all
How's
right.
his last week been to you?
It's been pretty cool. I've been chilling.
Just chilling?
Yeah, just chilling.
Nothing big. I see you've been lacking on the streams, man.
Yeah, I was out of town. Then been
But you
kind of
came back
busy for
Monday though.
past. I actually been busy, so
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard for me to stream.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. You've been ducking the
hopefully I'll be
sets.
able to. Me and my ducking sets. I definitely told you that.
You've been ducking.
Definitely, I don't duck. All right, I don't know why you're trying to like create this false narrative that I duck. All right, I don't duck.
Okay.
You know what I'm
If
saying?
if you say so. I mean, I have the receipts to prove otherwise.
Look, man. Like, every night, or at least on the weekends or weekdays, right? Me and my girl, we play video games. So I can't really, it have to be at late at night until we actually play a set.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean,
I'm hearing excuses, but that's
that's
okay.
just you not following, that's just you, not good at following directions or, your listening skills are not great.
They're definitely A plus.
You keep saying I'm ducking, but you're not, but, I'm not ducking, so.
For me, I just kind of been chilling, man. Working on, I'm trying to. My goal for 2020 is to try and do a lot more stuff. I felt like I wasn't doing a whole lot with what the time I had. So now I'm trying to diversify. I'm trying to stream more, trying to put out more content, be a little bit more busy with the time I have. So that's what I've been working on. And
Hey, man, yeah, I see you, man.
we got some things in the works for 2020. So it's looking like it's going to be a pretty good year. So.
Hey, just go ahead and add me to your suitcase when you decide to go out.
But anyways, enough of that. So we got a few topics today that we're going to talk about. But I guess the first thing that we were going to discuss is the amateur SFL. And boy,
Oh
what
boy.
a what a
Oh
shit show
boy.
this has been, huh? I don't mean to like start out out the
Oh,
gate with this type of
yeah, yeah,
energy, but
you have to say that. Like, jeez.
uh,
Definitely, I see the communication side of things has been lacking.
oh for sure,
Serious.
you know. So to break up, I guess to start off, so what we could do is talk about what amateur SFL is if you're not aware. So everybody knows Street Fighter League. It's the 3v3 team based thing that Capcom has done for what they started it last year, right? They did 2 seasons of it.
Yeah, they started last year in Japan, like even like a test run. Actually,
Might have been before that too, right?
yeah, I think it might. Yeah, I think, yeah. So they had it in Japan first. It was great. They brought it over to America. They tweaked some things about it. At least for me as a viewer, did not enjoy it.
You didn't enjoy the Japanese one or the American one?
I enjoyed the Japanese one. The Japanese one was great. I like what they did for the Japanese one, but the
Hmm.
American one, not so much.
I think it definitely improved from the first season to second season, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to do for the following season. I don't think there's much known about what they're going to do for this year, but I mean they've been improving, so can't really go anywhere else but up, right?
You
I
can
mean,
go
you would
down.
think. I mean, it could,
You can go
it
down.
could. So yeah, so what amateur SFL is, it was created by Super League, which I don't know a lot about Super League. I tried to go to their website and dig up some information, but I mean, it looks like a group that runs tournaments. They run it for all kinds of games. I think they have Smash on there. They've got PUBG. There is some FGC stuff. They have Street Fighter on there. Anyway, they run tournaments, and I guess they partnered up with Capcom for running a amateur SFL league, which is supposed to be a bunch of regions. And the whole point of this is to shed light on some other communities and some lesser known players. So the way that they structured this was you had to have less than 20 Capcom Pro Tour points, right? So that's supposed to eliminate, a lot of the bigger names getting into this. So it's supposed to shine light on, like I said, the smaller communities and, lesser known players. There's 16 regions that they have. They have Tampa, Miami, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Atlanta, Toronto, Phoenix, Hammond, I guess SoCal.
Hammond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hammond. I don't even hold on. Where's that again? Let me pull that up. I've
I
got
mean,
the.
I mean,
I have to
Hammond.
pull up the. Yeah, it's Hammond, Louisiana. There you go. That's the
Sick.
Louisiana team.
All right.
SoCal. You got Brooklyn, which is essentially NLBC. Wasilla, that's in Anchorage. I didn't even know
No,
that's
no,
a.
no, no, no. I actually create you on that. Wasilla is like outside of Anchorage. Just say it's pretty much just Wasilla, Alaska.
Oh, there you go. It's in
Yeah.
Alaska. There we go. Houston.
I got you, big dog.
Appreciate that, man. Houston, Boston, Cleveland, San Francisco, Las Vegas, and Plymouth, Minnesota. Again, I didn't even know that there was a FGC in Plymouth. Whatever.
I
So
mean, they clearly got a Red Bull over Atlanta, so it's clearly a FGC in there. So
there's definitely some politics involved in that we will we will save for another time.
yeah, it's a lot of politics going on nowadays. Let's just see.
So players for each region were determined by a tournament. So it was kind of up to, at least the way it looked like, it was up to the TO's discretion on how they wanted to run tournaments for it. It seems like not everybody went about it the same way, but
Nope.
but anyway,
Cough Atlanta.
anyway, five players.
They had 2 players who didn't play for their spots.
Look, man, again, it's up to TO discretion how they decide to do this. So I'm not gonna,
Jesus Christ, my bad.
Again, it goes back to this is a this is a whole shit show. 5 players from each region are supposed to be chosen, and ideally what it's supposed to be is each region is supposed to play each other. I don't know how they're going to do that geographically, if only Southeast plays Southeast, or South can play East. They're trying to avoid having them do cross country matches, so I don't know. So 5 players were chosen. I want to say most teams or most regions already have their team, but there are a few that don't. Namely, I think Plymouth. I tried to look up the TO on Twitter to try and see if he had announced if anybody qualified, and I could not find anything. So, I mean, there's a lot of things with this
I
SFL
see
that I
only
just couldn't
14
find.
teams on here.
Yeah, the 2 that aren't showing up on the Smash GG page are Plymouth and Boston, but Boston does have some players. I think there's 4 players qualified for Boston. There's a Fong player, I forget his name, Zaffarino, KO the Poet, and somebody else. Oh, so the way it works is it's supposed to be as far as each team playing each other, Seder style. So I might mess this up because I have like a loose understanding of this. So with Seder style, it's player A plays player A on the other team. They keep going down. So you already have an order that you've already committed to. Each player plays each other, and once the player loses, it still goes down. And then when it comes back up, whoever's remaining plays the next person who's in line on the other team. Right? That sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the other interesting thing about this, Capcom has no involvement in this whatsoever. Like it's almost like they're not touching it. I mean, I haven't even seen Capcom retweet anything regarding this since the announcement. Have you? Unless I've missed
No,
it.
I thought with this was like I guess when they all announced it back then, I thought it was like whoever was the winning teams for each, they were going to be a part of the pool, like the draft pool for SFL. Am I
Yeah.
correct on that?
No, well, I don't think so. And then the other thing is everybody had their expectations so high for this once they heard it. And then when you found out that one, there's no money involved, there's literally no point to this other than whatever clout
That's
you
no
get.
point.
Well, not okay. That's a little bit offensive to say no point, but like, there's not anything high stakes on the line. Like I think the winner of this gets, they get a pizza party and jackets. I want to say, like
Huh?
personalized jackets. I believe that. Look. Somebody
A
let me know.
pizza party?
A pizza party. Yes. First of all, who says no to a pizza party? What's the problem with
I
that?
would.
You don't like pizza? You're gonna say no to free pizza? I mean, whatever. But it's still
What am
free
I in
pizza.
middle school?
So that was one thing that messed everybody up because I think everybody had expectations that this was going to go into SFL and maybe you qualified for SFL through doing this, which again, we still don't honestly know because there's just not a lot of information regarding this. Capcom just literally hasn't done anything with this whatsoever. And that's probably, I don't know if that's by design. I don't know if all Capcom did was just give them their blessing and the and like the package with all the art, and it was like, you guys have it, do whatever you want, But yeah, Super League is really kind of dropping the ball. I know Jabali is part of this as well, but he's got a lot on his plate right now. So I don't know if maybe that has something to do with the mismanagement of this.
Yeah, I think Dreamhack Anaheim. I may already passed. I think he has like some events coming up. It's almost that time
Yeah.
for the festival seasons to start.
Oh yeah. Well, the tour season starts soon. So and
Yeah,
CEO is 4 months away. So I'm pretty sure he's in
yeah,
grind mode for that as well. So yeah, like I was saying, there's not really a whole lot of advertisement for this, and it's really been left up to the TOs and the people in the region to really do the work in this. So I've seen some of the regions; they've been pretty good. Some of the players will retweet clips from their locals where they qualified. Some people will tweet out that they qualified. Some of the TOs got art made up for them, showing the team and all this. So I mean, shouts out to those guys for really, taking the initiative where Super League is kind of dropping the ball. But it's
yeah,
been some really sick stuff so far of people kind of
yeah.
showcasing their regions.
I like the like someone did like a Marvel 2
Hmm.
like graphic for it. I thought that was pretty sick.
And I don't even think there's like a full schedule out as far as when
So
everything
I
is
thought it
supposed to
was supposed to be
happen.
starting this month.
I mean, they've been doing exhibition matches, which
Um,
those are pretty interesting.
hey, you remember the first Atlanta, like the Atlanta exhibition where they streamed it from a PlayStation 4?
Yeah, well, that was like an
Wow.
unfortunate situation because apparently there was another tournament being run at the venue at the time, so that kind of kept them from being able to stream. So I mean, I get it, but yeah, they've done a few. I want to say a couple of them have done exhibitions. Atlanta did one against Miami, and then this past Tuesday they played against Cleveland. And man, if there was any way to showcase all the issues with Street Fighter Five, that was one way to do it. Man, it was just an unfortunate, just like a shitty experience to see both these teams just play through like unbearable lag. And it's like it's not one sided because the funny thing was both teams were streaming it. So I pulled up both streams and I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, this isn't even one sided rollback. It's just bad. And they were both at LAN centers, right? So Atlanta's at Axis, and I forget the name of the one in Cleveland that they were at. They were there. So I mean, they both have stable internet, as far as I know. I mean, nobody ran a speed test, well, nobody knows anything. I don't know the specifics behind
Yeah.
it, but I'm assuming they both are streaming fine. So clearly the internet's stable. So, but yeah, it was bad. It was nobody looked like they enjoyed it at all, and it's even hard. Like I was trying to listen to the Cleveland commentary, and these
Yeah.
guys are trying not to shit on the the state of the game online while they're watching their players just kind of not be able to play the game like you want to.
Like
I
they got
mean,
like Capcom has some time. No, actually, they really don't have that much time, to
it's
be
not even
honest.
Capcom. Are you talking about Capcom to fix netcode, or are we talking about
Yeah.
just the? Well,
Well, I mean, this I'm like, well, Neko wise, Capcom doesn't have that much time to actually like get on the ball and fix it. But this, I don't know what they can do to fix it. To be honest.
some people are theorizing that this might be a test. This is honestly just them trying something and it's going to be used for something else bigger down the line. I mean, whatever it is, if it's an experiment, it's gone bad. And I hope they really take some of these lessons to heart and try and figure out ways to improve the experience. But yeah, it's not been great. Like another thing of mismanagement. Like so, the first thing that they were supposed to do was the idea was everybody plays from a central location. So if you qualify, everybody meets up. They play at one area against people at another area, and I guess it's to one bring out the sense of camaraderie as a team, and to also keep from any type of thing of hey, I'm playing at my setup at the house, and this could be somebody else playing. You don't even know, so
Yeah.
you can like confirm the people playing. But apparently for the exhibition, they let people play from home. So like Flux Waves is on the Toronto team, and I think he's like a couple hours away from the venue where they were supposed to play at. They just let him
Huh?
play. Yeah, just let him play from home.
Okay, so here. Okay, that's definitely on the player. All right. Now, if you're like more than 2 hours away and you know you can't meet to make that thing, give your spot.
I mean, that would be
Give
the fair thing to do, but again, it's kind of who is it? That was also so they told Rushdown that he couldn't qualify for one of his, or I think there was two. There was Miami and there was what was the other one? Miami and Tampa. He's like an hour and a half or 2 hours from both cities. So they said since he's so far away, he can't qualify.
All right, so okay, so I think another thing too, right? If you can't make it, give it your spot. But if you know you can make it on that day, if you're willing to drive that 2 hours or that hour and a half, I say go ahead and keep your spot.
Or
But
I guess the other thing is if they have the backups, because the other thing is there's supposed to be backups for the players if they can't make it.
yeah,
Uh, maybe you pick sometimes that you want to show up and sometimes that you don't. So you don't have to. I mean, I get that it's a long drive for maybe some people or Flux in the situation that he qualified. So maybe you're like, all right, well, I'm not going to show up every week. This is, I'm going to show up, a couple weeks or whatever, maybe 3 weeks, 3 weeks in or whatever I have time. But also, what's unfortunate about it is the time that they pick for them to play the matches is Tuesday. So it's in the middle of the week, you know. And then asking somebody to travel like that in the middle of the week's probably not, probably not going to work out all the time,
it's probably
especially
not
if you
ideal.
have to. But I guess that goes back to they probably didn't expect anybody to qualify who was from like a very far, distance from the region that they were supposed to qualify. So, like, if I had qualified, technically, I won that tournament for Atlanta, right? If I
Yeah,
would have qualified, I mean, I couldn't have done it anyway because there's no way I'm driving to Atlanta on a Tuesday,
and
to go.
you have like 5 kids. And I know your wife
This
ain't gonna
man
allow
said
you to do
five
that.
kids.
So I mean, look, she ain't gonna let you do that.
It's been a unfortunate situation, man, and I'm like I said, shout outs to everybody who's trying to make the best of the situation by trying to use the SFL name to kind of, because it's still SFL, right? Even if Super League isn't putting their best into this, at least with that, you can take the Super League, you can take the SFL name and maybe try and get a little bit of notoriety off it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least take advantage of what you can. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but hey, like I said, hopefully that they're gonna improve it as it goes on, and maybe they do this next season, or maybe they do it later on in this season, and it'll be a better experience overall, right?
In other news, all right. So, what we got the Evo lineup
Yeah, so I guess we can
yesterday.
we can talk about that.
We got the Evo lineup yesterday. Whew, boy, this
Oh,
is reminiscent of last year's lineup reveal, but just not as bad, I guess.
how was it bad? Well, how was last year's
Well,
bad?
last year's was pretty bad when they
I
made
don't
it.
even remember enough about it to say it
Oh,
was
I
bad.
I remember I remember I remember the commotion of Melee not making it in, and then everybody shitting on it, saying why this generic samurai gang made it in and shit like that. I don't, my bad about cursing, by the way. But
I
yeah,
mean, we got an explicit sticker, so you can say as many fucks and shits as you want.
I don't want to. I want to keep it as
Well, I'm definitely gonna
uh
say it.
well, I mean, I want to keep it as PG-13 as possible. So we only get one. We get one. They already used it, so the dates are July 31st to August 2nd. It's good to see it back in July, even though it may be the last day of July. That's pretty cool. It's again at the Mandalay Bay. And so the games we have this year, the 9 games
Actually,
are
well, is it nine if you want to? I guess you
is
go if you want to count it as nine. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
all right. Okay. So Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, Dragon Ball Fighters, Samurai Showdown, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Soul Calibur 6, Internight Inbirth EX Late CLR,
Uniclear, I guess, if you want to be.
Uniclear. Okay, yeah, actually, that sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
And last but not least, making his triumphant return for the 20th anniversary, we got Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and the 8-player invitational.
That.
Whew.
So initial feelings about the lineup, as far as, I mean, obviously we all knew there was 4 games that you already knew that were going to be in there: Smash Brothers, Tekken, Street Fighter, Dragon Ball. Right? Those are givens. There's no way Dragon Ball wasn't going to make it. It's still a like fairly well entered game. It's still popular. Like, it was gonna make it. Those
I
are the
guess.
4 you were
I guess.
guaranteed. Now, Samurai Showdown, I wasn't sure. I felt pretty good about it was gonna make it, but I still wasn't sure. I didn't want to call it when that got announced. I was like, okay, I'm glad to see that. They got season 2 on the way. Evo finals for Evo Japan. Sam Show was good. Sam Show was also good at Evo last year. I mean, the
Yeah.
games had pretty good success as far as the competitive scene. It's been well supported, so the community likes it, and I mean it's a super interesting game to watch. So I'm glad it made it again.
Yeah.
Then we had Grand Blue Fantasy. So Evo has a tradition, I feel like in the last few years, of having brand new games. Well, I guess in the situation, well, what
Well,
was it? BB.
this year is two brand new games. Yeah.
Well, I guess what I was trying to say, and I guess I messed it up because I was thinking that this hadn't been, this was going to come out, well, because BB Tag, didn't it get announced before, it got announced for Evo before the game was even out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then that was kind of a similar situation with Grand Blue, but Grand Blue, I guess, technically came out the day of the announcement. I guess
No.
technically, right?
No.
Not in North America,
Well,
but in other territories.
Look, it came out the next day, right?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
And Uniclear also comes out this month, I believe.
yeah. It's I think a couple weeks from now. But with Grand Blue, I don't know, man. It's an untested game, right? I guess. Well, there's been a beta, and people seem to be pretty excited about it. I just don't know enough about it, man. I don't really know if it's going to gravitate to people like that, if people are going to stick with it, but it'll be interesting to see how the turnout for that game is.
I'm also excited too because the game is really big in Asia, right? Grand Blue, like the franchise,
Yeah, the
whatever
franchise itself. Yeah,
it's like super big, and Japan is ridiculous. They just had their like festival maybe like a few weeks ago that like literally is like its own 3-day event for this mobile game that's just like blowing up. So we'll see how it translate to the Western like audience, I guess.
I've
But
been hearing things about the play, like the play style is like really stripped down. It's supposed to be, how people say, oh well, Eunice is like the Street Fighter version of anime. Well, like apparently this is supposed to be like Third Strike style of like Street Fighter, where it's like super slow. Like that's what people say. I don't know, but I feel like anytime people say it's like a Street Fighter version of anime, it never is.
yeah, I'll say it's the closest.
Eh, I
It's the
haven't played it,
closest.
so I can't even.
I've been watching streams with it all day. I'm waiting for my card to come in so I get my Hong Kong version. And yeah. From what I've seen so far, it looks fun.
Okay.
Can't wait to, get at it tonight probably.
Well, maybe we'll follow up with you next week on.
Yeah, maybe give a review on it.
But so the other two games, we already talked about Uniclear, but Soul Calibur 6, I expected it to come back. I don't know why. I guess when I thought about it after, I was telling somebody yesterday, I guess that's a good game to bring on because it's another 3D fighter. It has like a very diverse like top 8. Usually you end up having, as far as nationalities, you'll have Japanese players, people from America. Europe is very strong in the game. So I think that's why they wanted to do it. So one, what was it before Soul Calibur 6 came out? What was it like? Almost 8 years or something before they had a Soul Calibur game on the main stage.
When did 5 come out? 2012.
It's been a while. Yeah, it was like
so it's been a minute, yeah. And like I think Kayane was the first woman to make a top 8 last year. So there's definitely some history in that as well. And then like the Evil Japan Grand Final or just Finals top 8 last. Well, I guess a few weeks ago was really good for it. So
yeah, definitely. I always enjoy watching it. I don't play it, but I always have like a very, very strong appreciation for that game. And the surprise to everybody that I'm pretty sure nobody saw it coming, was the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 8-man Invitational. I'm hyped. I mean,
all right, so I'm hyped too, but I definitely have some gripes about it.
Well, let's get all right. So let's start with the positives for, I guess, why I think it's super cool. Because I feel like Marvel, not just Marvel too, just Marvel in general has had like a really big resurgence lately. Yipes has been one of the main people trying to, say, well, not really. I guess Art, he also, because he was the one that's been streaming it from the Dreamcast, like, been really good about trying to keep that game like looking good, because most of the time you think of retro games, you think of these like shitty, 480i streams or just interlace, and it's just like he's showing off these old games in a level that not many people are capable of doing, so I mean, and it's not only that, it's just people still, the games have been out for so long. The skill level is pretty high now. People are still good at the game. People still grinding. People still finding stuff in the game. So, but yeah, like Marvel 2's been popping lately. Marvel 3. If you look at Frosty Faustings just this past month, it was man. People still on their shit on that game. You know what I'm saying? People are still on it.
You know what I'm saying? I had to plug up the 360. You know what I'm saying?
Plug up the 360.
Hey man, I hate playing that game on PS4. It's definitely even Yipe said like there's definitely some lag there. And then well the Air Dasher Club got their tournament coming soon in my I know Yipe said he wants to do like a similar thing with Battle for the Stones or was it Battle of the
Battle of
Strongest? He wants to do
Strongest,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah. He wants to do that, do something similar with
He
that.
should just bring back Curly Mustache. That's really what he should do. You know,
Yeah.
that would be sick.
Marvel Infinite, they got their own thing going on
Yeah.
as well. So it's definitely a good time to be a Marvel player right now. But
So now that we went over the positive, what were the gripes that you had with this?
okay, you could have still had an invitational without taking up that ninth spot, right? I think you could have
Mm,
put. I think you could have put MK11 now.
well,
To be honest,
for the last few years, I feel like I think they only have been doing 8 games. I'd have to go dig back
I don't know.
to
Maybe I
20.
don't know. I
Last year was
probably
8. I did
actually.
look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Last year was
yeah,
8.
you're right. You're right. It was 8. So never
So,
mind.
and I
But
think the reason why they don't want to go any higher is like they did. I want to say it was 2018 that ran into an issue with like the finals taking way too long, and they're like, all right, we can't put all these games. We can't really afford to run all these games. So I don't know if that was why they've settled on 8. That seems like that's what they're pretty, I guess
yeah,
technically it is 8, but there's an invitational, so I don't really want to count that as a full. Because that was one thing. Somebody on Twitter was complaining about, oh, why would they give up a game spot for the Marvel Invitational? I'm like, well, you got to think about it like this: the Marvel Invitational, it's only one day, bro. This is gonna be like 2 hours of them throwing this on stage, or 2 or 4 hours of this on stage. That's it. They don't have
well,
to
yeah,
run brackets for this. You know what I'm
well,
saying? Like, it's not a
well, man.
whole
I mean, so
event.
the last chance, so looking at the schedule for it, right? So I just actually had this up, but there's going to be a qualifier at a Big E event, no cat regionals, and CEO. I could be wrong. I had like the tweet up earlier, and I
Yeah.
remember
So
him saying that Doug that the four who already invited, so Justin, Yipes, Doug Doe, and Sanford, they can't enter any of the qualifiers.
yeah, I mean that makes sense. They're invited,
Yeah,
right? So.
yeah. But yeah, so they're having those qualifiers there, right? And then the
Mhm.
last chance qualifiers on the 31st, that Friday, at Evo. So another thing, right? Why just make the whole thing? Why at Evo just make it the whole thing open? Just an
You
open
mean like a
bracket.
tournament?
Yeah, just make it an open bracket.
Because that's like more resources that they have to dedicate to running it. Whereas, I mean,
Look, they're
granted,
gonna
it is
look,
there.
look, look. They're gonna have to open up the resources anyway because they're running the last chance qualifier there.
Yeah, but you follow me on that. Like, it's a little bit easier. So if you do that, that's like additional space that you have to give for the tournament, right? Because you're gonna have to do this. Like, even if they run the last chance qualifier, they can cap it. So if it's a last chance qualifier and you cap it at 64 people, it doesn't sound bad. But if you run an open bracket and now you got 200 men, Marvel bracket you got to worry about running or whatever, maybe it throws a wrench in the logistics. Maybe that's the only thing I can think of. So I'm not mad about it. Like, I'm not. I don't get why people would be mad that it's only an invitational. You know what I mean? Because they're still gonna have, because they had a side tournament at Evo, and they're still probably gonna have a side tournament for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So the invitational exists and it's gonna be sick, but they're still gonna do a side tournament. And Evo's been really good since last year about highlighting a lot of the side tournaments. So what they'll end up doing is, if I forget what it's called, there's like some version of a community something or other, but basically you can have your side tournament top 8 streamed on the side stream, and they'll give you medals and everything. So I mean, I think that's super sick.
yeah.
And
No, I remember them doing that for Infinite.
Infinite got it. Guilty Gear Rev 2 got it. I forgot something else that got streamed like that too. But yeah,
Yeah, they did the anime Evo, whatever.
Hmm.
I know they did that too. They were like also streaming their games as well on the stage, like Sailor Moon and all that.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I'm just saying. I guess they're having an open bracket for that last qualifier spot at
yeah,
Evo, so why not?
and
I
I
know.
think Mr. Wizard was saying something about they're looking at doing some type of community drive thing where people can donate or spend money towards adding to the pot. I want to say I thought that I heard that.
Mm,
I feel like I heard him say that. I might be wrong, but we'll if I am wrong, somebody fact check me.
all right.
But I'll do it. I'll do it after this. So outside of that, the only other two things. So there
Ah,
are
I found
two
it. I found it. I found it. My bad.
oh
So it's no Car Regionals, April Annihilation, Combo Breaker, and then the last chance qualifiers on the 31st. So that Friday. Hey, so Biggie got something, guys.
I mean, he's on Capcom Pro Tour, so he's still got something.
Oh, you're right. Never mind, he didn't get nothing Tekken related, which is wild. Or was it? No, he didn't get anything Soul Calibur related,
Yeah.
which is wild.
So the only two exclusions that happened that we noticed, I guess. So no NRS. I think this is the first year with no NRS game in a long time.
Yeah, since Mortal Kombat
So,
9.
yeah, no MK11 and no BB tag. I don't think anybody's really mad about BB tag.
Uh,
People were memeing, oh, dead game, but I mean that's just shitlords on the
yeah,
internet. So
yeah. No, I no. Look here, man. Guilty Gear and BB Tag are fine,
yeah,
right?
people still gonna
They
play
got
it.
like they're still gonna play it. They got Arc Revo, right?
Hmm.
So they're Gucci.
And even with MK, I mean they still have the whatever their pro tour is. I don't think they're
Yeah,
going to be affected by not being there. I know some NRS people might not go to Evo because of this, but I mean, it's still going to be a good event, and there's still
yeah.
plenty of representation for that game in other tournaments, so they'll be okay.
Like
So
Sonic Fox on top 8 and something, right?
yeah, I
So,
mean, Dragon Ball's there, so I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
are we gonna have a repeat of grand finals for the last 2 years?
Oh,
Same
2 years,
same grand
3 years in a
finals.
row. Jesus Christ, I don't need that. We need someone to step up. I'm so
uh,
tired of seeing Goichi and Sonic Fox.
I
Someone
never pay
please step
attention
up.
to that game, and I just can't. I
I
have. It's not
no,
even about
trust
the
me.
gameplay, man. I just don't have any attachment to Dragon Ball as a franchise at all. Like I miss like that era of anime, and if anytime I've tried to go back and watch it, it just doesn't resonate with me at all. I can't
It's
do it.
crazy. It's crazy because as a kid, I loved it, right? And then like I go back and watch it now, I'm just like, oh, like there's some characters like I think are just dope characters in the show, like by design. But like when I go back and watch it, I'm just like, man, I have no attachment to like Goku or anything that show does. And
I
it's
think.
like,
Oh, go ahead.
and I was saying they kind of like messed up Kid Goku for me because I'm just like, oh, you gave me GT Kid Goku when you could just give me like regular. I don't know. I'm being picky now. Let me stop.
You're speaking a whole nother language to me at this point.
Yeah, no.
I think if people asking me like, "Man, how'd you miss the Toonami era?" I was like, "Bro, I was like watching Rhapsody at that point. Like, I came
Hey,
home,
hey! I had on Rhapsody too. I had a Rhapsody and then Sailor Moon playing on another next channel at the previous button.
like
You
I
know what I'm
came
saying?
home like putting it on Cartoon Network is the last thing I was thinking of. Saying, so, I don't know. I think it was just wrong time. Like probably, if I was watching, if I was watching Cartoon Network back then, I probably would fuck with it. I just missed it for whatever reason. So the only other thing that I wanted to bring up was there was no announcement for SF5 to be part of SF5 at Evo to be part of Capcom Pro Tour. Now, I don't know if it really isn't going to be part of it or if this is going to be. I saw Joe Monday was talking about. He was thinking that what'll happen is we don't really know enough about the World Warrior events. So he was saying that he thinks Evo will be announced as a World Warrior event, and the winner of that qualifies to go to Capcom Pro Tour. Because it seems very odd to not have Evo, the largest tournament, the biggest fighting game tournament ever,
Well,
tie into one of the biggest tours.
when is the Olympics again?
I don't know, but I don't think that has any bearing on like
I
that.
mean, yeah. I think all this comes down to like a timing issue. I think
How so?
in terms of like, it just depends when the Olympics are. And it's probably why there's like a reason it may not, or they just haven't really announced it yet. I guess.
I guess the only thing I could come up with was so the first half of the schedule for Capcom Pro Tour ends on July 4th, and the second half starts on August 21st through 23rd. Now, I guess actually I take that back. Yeah. Actually,
Okay.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
actually, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Sonic Boom starts the second half. That's the first event of the second half of the Pro Tour. That starts July 10th. So technically, the second half of the season will have started when Evo's going on, right? Because Evo is July 31st through the 2nd. So it'll be going on. Again, that's why I think he might be right about he thinks this is going to be a World Warrior event, and it's just going to be there's not going to be any points, but whoever wins it gets they make it to Capcom Cup. I mean, I guess if you win Evo, you should already technically you kind of did. If you won Evo, you had enough points to qualify. You pretty much were good. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Has any well, usually the people who win Evo are the ones that are traveling, but I was about to say, if you win Evo, everybody who's won Evo is qualified for Capcom Cup. So yeah, I was thinking because at first when he didn't mention it, I was like, huh, does that mean that it's not gonna be there? But in like hindsight, seeing that tweet, I think it made a lot of sense. So I think that's probably what's gonna happen. And even if it wasn't part of Capcom Pro Tour, I don't think it's really gonna affect the attendance of that game. People still gonna show up. It's still going to have tons of international players. It's still going to be a good place to practice for Capcom Pro Tour, even if it's not part of it. So I don't foresee that being an issue, even if it's not. I think that's all we really had, man. I guess unless you want to talk about this,
This brand new tier list we got this week, or we can talk about
nah,
some of the Seth's footage.
nah. Well, you're not gonna worry about it. We already talked about tier list enough, so we'll
Uh,
we
yeah,
could
let's talk about a little bit the Seth gameplay because I thought some of the Seth stuff I saw was pretty cool.
I don't know, man. I'm still lukewarm on that character. I don't really. I don't
He
know.
has a launcher.
Huh?
He has a launcher.
I mean, still doesn't look cool though. The thing that I'm just gonna like bitch about this now. The thing that just kills me is you look at Seth in Street Fighter 4 and like the character like he looks like a boss, right? So he looks like a boss character. Why is he so short in this game? Have you seen like
I
how
never like paid attention to the height.
like okay go like boot up Street Fighter 4 or don't even know you just go to YouTube and look at a Punko match and look at how tall Seth is and then try and compare him to his Street Fighter 5 model. Like he just looks short. Whatever, isn't it picky? But again, I have no attachment to
Yeah.
this character whatsoever. Like I don't care. He might be cool, or they might be cool. Whatever. I don't know. But I just man, I don't know, man. I can't get jiggy with it. I seen the trailer. I saw the breakdown. I watched like 2 or 3 minutes of the video where they were playing each other, playing the mirror match, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it, man. Just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I thought he looked kind of cool.
I mean,
Yes.
whatever. Well, he'll be out. They'll be out.
Or they.
Yeah, they'll be out next week. Yeah, you got less than a little bit over a week, and then you'll have them in your hands, and you can see if the hype's real. I don't know, man. I feel like that's going to be another character people are going to be too scared to put the time into because they just don't look busted like right now. I mean, I guess that was kind of the way we felt about G. Nobody looked at G at first and thought that character was like complete, BS. But look at how he turned out.
Look how he turned out. Who would have thought? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're one EX rush punch or rush punch away from dying.
And the only other thing that we could talk about was the tweet Ono put out. So Ono put out a nice little tweet saying he was visiting the Intel offices. Then he said, and I quote, "We're working on some updates to ensure you're satisfied with Intel World Open. We're looking forward to you participating in that." So that led a lot of people to, which, everybody loves to theorize what Capcom's going to do because they're just not very transparent. So that led a lot of people to think that, oh, does that mean he's working on updates on the netcode? I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, you cut out. What'd you say?
I was saying maybe we get like another tournament mode beta or some shit like that.
I would hope not. That would go back in line with disappointing teases that Capcom's known for. Because why would we need another one of those? I mean, granted, I think they should keep running those so they can try and perfect how they're running the tournaments. But you don't tweet out about you don't tweet out something like that and then deliver with that. You know what I'm saying? Not if you unless you just want people to get mad with you again. Yeah, I don't know. I was theorizing that maybe they figured out, or they figured out what Altimore did basically, and they're gonna try and roll it into the current net code and try and fix it. I mean, that's what we'd hope for. That's what everybody wants, right? At this point,
Yeah.
because the patches have definitely done more harm than they've done good. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I mean, for the most part, I'm still playing. When I do play, I play on PS4 for context. I do play. I still search both consoles, PC and PS4, and sometimes you'll definitely get those people where you can tell. Sometimes I think people they might forget. They're running the
Yeah.
patch, they just forget whatever. But there's some people you could
I don't
definitely
think
tell.
I don't think they're forgetting.
Well, there's
I don't
definitely
think
some
they're
people you can tell this is malicious. Like there was there's no doubt in my mind. This is what you're trying to do. You're trying to cheese out
I'm not
wins.
I'm not having fun playing that game online right
I can't say that I ever have fun. Oh, I do enjoy myself. Let me not lie. I mean, I definitely enjoy playing Street Fighter Five, and online is hit or miss, but it's about trying to make the best of the situation. Right? Obviously, you're gonna have bad matches, some things you just can't do, but you try and figure out the things you can work on within that bad connection. And if you lose, you don't really put a lot of stock in the loss. You just say, "All right, it was a bad connection. Moving on." It's just kind of how you have to treat it, to be honest.
now. Yeah.
If you're gonna use it as a way to train for sure. I think that's it for this week, man. I don't really have anything else I can think of. Anything else you want to touch on, man?
I think that's it for at least anything I was interested in. From the past week. SFL is Dookie right now. Japan has another tier list. That's how. And my dog keeps bringing toys up to me that squeaks. So, you know, that's all I gotta say.
All right, cool. Well, all right. Well, go ahead and plug your socials.
Go ahead, follow your boy on Twitter at 4HTim. You know what I'm saying? Hit the follow button and hit the subscribe button to my Twitch at twitch.tv/4H underscore Tim. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? And don't be coming there just watching me for free. You can at least spend $4.99 to support me.
I
So I'm
definitely
not
don't
doing
have
this for
that.
free. I know you got Twitch Prime.
I already used that on a well-deserving streamer.
Oh, okay. I see you're being a neighbor right now.
We know what that means, so
Do we? Do we know what that means?
hey, the real ones know.
I don't even think the real ones though. But
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys know where you can hit me up. I'm on Twitter at Boombox Hero. Uh, I'm on there pretty much every day because why not? You know what I'm saying? It's Twitter. I gotta stay locked in. You feel me?
You're a cloud
Uh,
tracer. But hey,
no, definitely not.
okay.
I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv Magnegro, with a zero, not a O. And I'm on there a couple times a week. Follow me there. And you can also find me on YouTube, where this podcast will be at, on youtube.com/c/Magnegro. And also, the podcast will be on Spotify now. So we're on there. We're also on Stitcher. We should be on Google Podcasts pretty soon. And Apple Podcasts is pending. So we'll start being on a lot more services now. So that'll be nice.
Follow us on Spotify now.
Yeah.
The
I mean, you
link will
listen to
probably
it,
be in the description.
you might as
You
well
know,
just click the follow button right there
or
to follow the show. You know what I'm saying?
so, go ahead, hit us up on Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Even if you just want to hear my voice, just go ahead and just be like, hey, this is that podcast that Tim is on, and his voice is amazing.
Everybody just loves the deep nasally voice of Timothy Lamar Sharp Jr.
Wow. Oh, are we doing this? Gregory. Gregory.
Oh, okay.
Who do I sound like right now?
I don't know. I'm I'm gonna ignore that because I just got that. But uh, anyway, uh,
Gregory. Hey,
for
Timothy, have you seen Gregory around here?
shut the fuck up. Anyway, um, for next week, I don't really. I've got to look and see what's going on for tournaments. I don't really think there's a whole lot. Again, we're still in the off season. There's not really a whole lot going on. So I'm gonna try and cook up some topics maybe. And I know we said we're gonna have a guest this week, but that didn't pan out. So we'll try to figure out a guest next week. I think because, like I said, I think it's gonna be a short week, or not short, but a slow week as far as things happening in the SF5 meta. The only thing we really got to see, and I don't really know if that constitutes waiting to Friday to do a podcast or not. Uh, so we'll figure out something. And but yeah, be on the lookout for that. So again, appreciate everybody for listening to this. If you stayed around for this long, follow us. I'll probably end up making a Twitter account for the podcast, and also have a email account for the podcast at halfcirclebackpodcast.com or at gmail.com. Just messing up the names altogether. So yeah, if you guys have any any feedback you have about the show, any constructive criticism, feel free to send it there, or hit either one of us up on Twitter or in the comment of this YouTube vid. So anyway,
if you have any fan mail, if you just want to ask me some questions,
if you want a personalized drop, you know what I'm saying, I'm selling drops. What you want? You want a voicemail? You want me to shout out your event? I got you. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. Personalized drops. Hit my DMs.
I'm about to start an OnlyFans account pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? With all the podcast content. So yeah, man.
Jesus.
All right. Follow my Patreon.
All right, you wilding now. All right, this is where we end it. Appreciate it.
I can be your personal e-thought if you need me to.
Okay. All right. Good night, everybody. Appreciate y'all checking this out, man. We'll be back next week. Later.
Peace out.